Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I'm your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is about messages from your spirit guides. We're going to see what messages your spirit guides would like to tell you. We have 4 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have the flower agate. Pile 2, we have the dragon stone or septarian. Pile 3, we have a selenite palm stone. And pile 4, we have a black moonstone. So take a few deep breaths and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the flower agate, then we have a reading here for you about messages from your spirit guides. What would your spirit guides like you to know at this moment? We're going to dive into some oracle and tarot cards to see what they may have to say. If they show themselves, I may also speak about them as well, but that's only if they show themselves because they don't always do. But we're going to start with the cards you chose. There is something about, so I wasn't live shuffling for this one, but when I was shuffling your cards, the cards were very like fluid and smooth, and that doesn't always happen whenever I shuffle. If you've seen me shuffle on this channel before, sometimes the deck will act a little different. But for this one, I can tell that your guides have been wanting to speak to you for some time, or you may already speak with them rather fluently, if you will. But let's see the cards you chose. We have the Hermit and we have Bastet, Sanctuary. So a lot of you are spending a lot of time in the comfort of your own company. Whether this is at home or whether this is by yourself, I feel like a lot of you have just been retreating from the world at large. And there could be several reasons as to why this is. Bastet is a goddess of cats, among other things. In other decks that I have, she's shown as very playful, as very maybe even seductive because of that feline energy. But she's an ancient Egyptian goddess. Why she is seen as sanctuary here, I'm not sure, but I'm actually going to read from the book because that's always kind of, that's always baffled me. But sanctuary makes sense for the hermit who likes to keep to himself, him or herself. So some of you could be spending time alone or away from people. It's very much kind of like, it's not that you dislike people. I just feel like you're in a moment or an era of your life where you need a lot of self-reflection, self-care, maybe spiritual development for some of you. You could literally be shutting yourself in as well. But let me look up Bastet on this in this little booklet. She is the Egyptian goddess of home, pleasure, protection, and cats. In ancient Egypt, cats were highly revered as they kept down the rodent populations and protected food supplies. Cats were cherished and dressed in gold jewelry, and when they died, they would be mummified and buried in temples of Bastet. She is known as a protector of pregnant women and a matron of healers and magicians. She is usually depicted as a cat or cat-headed woman holding an ankh and sistrum and wearing a blue or green dress. So this just feels like straight up feminine energy, like you're protecting that of yours. If you're currently pregnant, maybe this could be relevant as well, where you just kind of want to you want to build your nest. You know, it's like when you're preparing the baby's room or the baby's area, you're kind of just nesting. So for a lot of you, you could be finding a new home, or you could be placing emphasis on spending time in your home or your personal space, which makes sense. It makes me think of remodeling or redecorating, or even just rearranging furniture for those of you who are into the feng shui kind of life. But if it's not your personal space, this could even be you. This could even be your psyche, rearranging parts of it so that you can feel more comfortable within it. A lot of you are definitely going through a massive healing. I feel like a lot of us heal every day in small ways, shapes, and forms. But for this pile, I feel like your guides want you to really focus on yourself and what is making you feel comfortable in your own skin or in your own space. So let's get more cards. I'm actually going to start with the tarot here. I'll set Bastet off to the side. She can just overlook before we get into the oracle. So pile 1, what are your spirit guides trying to tell you? For some of you, this spirit guide could be watching over you and your home. So this would be a spirit guide that maybe came along when you first moved into your current residence, or it could be a spirit guide that kind of stays within the confines of your space. And I'm not talking about ghosts. I'm not talking about you know, earthbound entities that need to leave. I'm talking about something that protects your space, which there is a difference. It makes me think of the Japanese religion of Shinto, where they have like specific spirit guides for like the rivers, the forest, you know, places. Like they'll have their own little shrines and excuse me, and they pray to the spirit or spirits of that particular region. So something similar here for a lot of you. We have the moon. We have the Knight of Swords. For a lot of you, if you're in a space right now where you just don't understand why certain things are happening, speak with your guides. I feel like the moment they want you to speak with them the most is when they're, well, not when they're, when you are going through something that you just don't seem to understand. Because I do see a lot of you kind of questioning your life, whether it's why something didn't work out, why you had to go through something, it's or even the circumstances that you've been handed. I feel like for a lot of you, your guides are trying to give you messages and they want you to speak. It's almost like, you know how when you feel bad, you may call up like a friend or a parent or somebody. They want you to do that very thing. Because a lot of you kind of forget that they're there. You have the Four of Swords. They come to you in your sleep, so pay attention to your dreams. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed. And then trying to show you why, for some of you who have had like a lack mentality or who have been looking at things in a more, and I hate to say that this is just your perspective, because I don't want to say that you're looking at things wrong, but what your guides are trying to tell me is that you're not looking at the full picture. And if you focus on only the suffering will just continue. But if you focus on why certain things are happening a certain way, you will understand why things are functioning in that way. It's basically like you could be going through a blessing in disguise, but you're only focused on the disguise part and not the blessing, or not trusting the process here. So for example, as to why you didn't get a promotion in a particular job, it could be because that job was toxic or would turn toxic, you know, as shit. I feel like for a lot of you, you're surrounded by people who, or an environment, if not people, that just isn't conducive to your health, like your mental health, your emotional health. Some of you are surrounded by really fake people as well, or people that the only way they can get anything done is if people lie to them. I know that seems odd. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing people who, they don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want, you know, cold hard fact. They want whatever boosts their ego. That was very specific, so you don't have to take that if it resonates. There's something about polarities as well, because the Hermit is Virgo and the Moon is Pisces. And they're very opposite signs. We have Strength reversed. We have the Six of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, something here is really not fair, because it's almost like if you keep trying and trying to better yourself and you see it going nowhere, or you see your progression be diminished, or you see people kind of like not acknowledging your growth, it means that they've already, like, this is kind of annoying, because I see certain people or circumstances just kind of knocking you down, not because you don't deserve something, but because they've already made up their mind about what's going to happen, and they would rather make you look bad. I don't know why this is coming through so strongly. This feels like a workplace situation, but it could also be, unfortunately for some of you, things that happen in the home. I really hope it's not things that happen in the home, but it feels like things are unfair right now because people are working against you, and your spirit guides can only do so much. It's kind of like swimming up, is that a saying? Swimming up the river, or against the current? Swimming against the current, is that a thing? We have the Devil reversed. We have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, and some of you are kind of refusing to see this, because sometimes the Eight of Swords can be stubbornness. I know people like to call it the self-victimization card. I don't like to call it that. I see it as stubbornness, because sometimes it's a refusal to see things as they are. And it's not always, because how can you self-victimize when you wouldn't put yourself in that situation to begin with? If you put yourself in a situation to begin with, it's because either you couldn't see or you refused to see the swords around you, the negativity, the garbage around you. So I see it as a card of stubbornness, where maybe you were aware that things weren't okay, but you kind of underestimated just how not okay they were, because we have the devil reversed here. A lot of you don't want to get sucked into the toxicity of this. In fact, I feel like your spirit guides are preventing you from becoming the very thing that is making you miserable, believe it or not. It's like, why would you want to join them when you see how they are? I feel like I don't know if this is a social group or if this is a workplace, because I feel like at one point this was something that was positive or beneficial to you, but it's become something much more negative, and it's more than you can handle on your own. Because I can understand why some of you would want to fight this, but it's more than you can handle. It's kind of, let me get one more card. The only reason I think it's the workplace is because we have Virgo and Capricorn, and earth signs, they can be very career focused or oriented. We have the Star. Oh, back of the deck, 10 of Cups. Focus on your happiness and focus on prioritize you feeling good. Because there's something here about other people wanting to bring you down, and you don't want to be that person that becomes so out of touch, or that person who goes with the toxicity of a situation just to be accepted or just to get ahead in life. And I can tell that some of you may have been wanting to get ahead in life with the devil reversed here, but it's like, it's not supposed to be this way. Like, how can you stay true and authentic to yourself? How can you stay a good effing person here and still get ahead? Because for a lot of you, if you have to do something that is out of your beliefs or out of your moral bounds, I feel like it's not worth pursuing. Not only that, but and I don't know why I keep seeing this, where like there's just people around you who may have a smile on their face, who may want to, they want to hang out around you, but when push comes to shove, I don't think they would ever really be there for you if you really needed it. It's very fake. Or if it's not fake, then they're very self-absorbed. So they want you to preserve this hope. They want you to preserve this beautiful energy of yours and go find your happiness where it's reciprocated, or where it's honest and genuine. Because the 10 of Cups here, it's emotional satisfaction, but I sometimes also see it as like happily ever after and getting everything that you wanted. And right now it seems to not be in the current space that you are in. And some of you may not even be looking to where you need to be looking. Because I'm looking at the faces of all the people in these cards, and only the devil is looking straight ahead. Everybody else is looking off to the side. Also Strength, but she's holding on to a lion. Interestingly, they're both reversed. So there's something here about you not seeing the reality of a situation. And I really hope this doesn't come off as harsh. This is just something your guides are trying to let you know. Because sometimes our guides protect us from certain situations that, again, we're not really aware just how negative they are. But let's move on to the oracle cards for my pile 1. Again, I'll leave Bastet here. So what else would our spirit guides like to tell pile 1? For those of you who are still with me, maybe some of you didn't like hearing that the things around you are not exactly as they seem. Because sometimes it's a harsh wake-up call or a harsh reality. We have heal. Yeah, again with the healing. I see this sometimes where, like, if you're in a toxic environment quite regularly, for example, the workspace or a certain family, you have to heal, you have to cleanse your energy more regularly. This would be like having really good energetic or spiritual hygiene. We also have balance, which is reversed, letting me know that certain things are unbalanced here. So we'll see where exactly things have been unbalanced. This could be you giving far too much of yourself, or you having to over-explain yourself to a situation or to a person or people. and express. The ability to express yourself. Speaking your truth, speaking freely. And if you're not allowed to speak freely, again, it's just proof that you're in the wrong environment. Back of the deck, shadow. We have fortune, horseshoe. The good news is that there is luck on your side. I feel like you're actually very naturally lucky. We have source, flower of life. These are mirroring numbers, 13 and 31. We have Shenring, protection. And you're very divinely protected. Again, there are certain spaces that you have not been able to go into because you're very divinely protected. And journey. Labyrinth. Oh, interesting. I really like the imagery of the labyrinth here because it feels like for some of you, you've been trying and you keep hitting a dead end, or you keep hitting like the wrong solution, and it's like you're looking your way out through the labyrinth. Let me get the rest of the rest of your cards. This card does make me think of Pan's Labyrinth here, where oh my, what's her name? Ophelia, the little girl. She goes to the house of her mother's new husband, and it's just like knowing that there's a, he ends up being not a great person. Maybe some of you are dealing with somebody like that, somebody who's very highly respected, but in the end, they're just not that great, or there's some sort of title that people have to respect, but it ends up being something they end up being somebody that's not great. We have raw intention. We have changes. There's something here about committing to change. When you commit to change, change can bring beautiful, new, wonderful things into your life. And you, the muse, which is technically an Empress card, the way I see this card in this particular deck, because it's not exactly coinciding with the tarot, but very similarly. Back of the deck, get back to elemental. I see a lot of you focusing on yourself here, because it seems like this this unhealthy environment has been really doing a number on you, or it's been really impacting the way you think about yourself, the way you think about others, the way you think about life, because it's almost at odds, because what you have been born to live here, Pile 1, is a much softer life than what you have been given currently. I feel like a lot of you actually have a lot of wonderful things going for you, and you're just focusing on the wrong thing. For some of you, for example, it could be focusing on the dating life when really you're surrounded by people, the single people that you would be eligible for dating, or that would be eligible for you, are actually not even of the highest quality. I have been reading that a lot lately. In fact, my love readings lately have been having a different tone for this very reason. I think it's just not the season for romance. And for some of you, it may not be the season to be focusing on your career either, because there are changes on the horizon, and it's almost like everything is up in the air. I want to do another tarot layout. Whenever I get the first card, whenever I get the first pile, I always kind of wing it, and then the following piles kind of follow suit. Very much a firstborn energy for pile 1. But yeah, I want to see more specifically what you can learn out of this, or what your spirit guides want you to do, other than to focus on yourself and your space and to heal and cleanse more regularly. Let me get... the mini pocket, Wild Unknown. I was going to do closing messages, but instead I want more guidance from them. For my pile 1. So what is pile one advise to do, or what would give them the best results and outcomes? Focusing on your happiness, finding a sense of stability from within yourself. For some of you, there could also be father wounds here, because I did mention Pan's Labyrinth, and that one definitely had like a very toxic male figure in it. Maybe some of you had to deal with that as well. We have Temperance, again with healing. The Hierophant. So this is part of a larger karmic lesson. Either you're dealing with like a masculine figure, they do not have to be a woman, a father wound, or like an unhealthy version of very controlling energy. We have the Five of Pentacles, and finding your self-worth. Understanding that somebody's opinion of you is not your actual self-worth. Not me wanting to talk over this really loud noise because I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of these loud cars in this neighborhood. But pile 1, I feel like your guides want you to focus on pouring back into your own cup, taking care of yourself, prioritizing yourself, making sure that you're healing from all these people or things or situations that have made you feel that you are lacking somehow, because you know you're not lacking. You know you're not, not qualified for something. You know you're not stupid. You know you're not ugly or whatever they want to call you. You're very much aware that you're more than the words that they think of you or that they even tell you in some cases. Back of the deck, strength. Finding your strength again, overcoming these hurdles. In fact, I love this imagery because here we have like this wilted rose, and here this lion is taking the rose into his little mouth, almost as if to protect it, which is really cute. And then we have Judgment. I feel like in the end, there's going to be a huge decision you have to make on your own. And this will impact your situation, because I feel like you've allowed other people to kind of take the reins of either your life or the way you view life or the way you even view yourself. This is a karmic lesson that you are learning right now, and your spirit guides want to make sure that you've learned it so you don't have to repeat it again. But this is wonderful energy. More power to you, pile 1. I wish you so much love, light, and strength in all the things that you are doing. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose the Dragonstone Palm Stone, I guess that's what you call it. Then we have a reading here for you about messages from your spirit guides. We're going to see what your spirit guides would like you to know at this moment, as well as any messages that are coming through. If I get a sense of who your spirit guide is, I may also talk about that, but it's not guaranteed because sometimes they don't like to reveal themselves. So we're going to start with the cards you chose, and we're going to get into the tarot, some oracles, and we're going to finish it out with advice. So you actually got multiple cards. We have the K-Leech, Rest. We also have the Page of Swords and the High Priestess. They want you to trust your intuition more. For some of you, your intuition comes through the most clearly when either you've had enough rest or when you are resting. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are sleeping. This could be like you're just laying down, minding your business, maybe just chilling out, either listening to music, maybe scrolling through whatever social media platform you use. I feel like for a lot of you, you get your more clear, intense, or pivotal messages from spirit and from your spirit guides when you are relaxing, when you're resting. I feel like you will just get hit with inspiration, or you may get like an indirect message through certain things that you are watching or certain things that you are doing. For example, I like to listen to binaural beats in my downtime, or I'll listen to maybe a tarot reading in my downtime as well. And even though like not the entire tarot reading will resonate, there'll be parts of it that I know I needed to hear. So maybe some of you are doing this through this very medium right now. But for a lot of you, your spirit guides want you to listen more to your intuition, or tap more into it with the Page of Swords here. Because look at how she's holding up the little dagger. It's not even really a sword. And she's looking away. They're like, bravely trust your intuition. Bravely, actively look for it and trust it here. So this is one thing that they really want you to do and focus on. Let's get more cards for my pile 2. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the King of Cups. Something or someone makes you think that you're not worthy enough, and that kind of breaks my heart. This person or people, because it does feel like human people, they're complete emotional manipulators. So whatever somebody who isn't even emotionally aware enough of like the damage they cause, or has like a lack of emotional maturity, whatever they're making you feel, ignore that, because who are they to tell you? Who are they to make you feel the way you are? Who are they to make you feel like you're less than here? I feel like for a lot of you, you're letting certain energies around you impact you. Somebody could be coming from pile 1 because it had a similar message, but this feels more like, it feels more personal. These are people that are just straight up haters. I was going to say maybe in the home, hopefully that's not the case, or even family, but this one feels personal for whatever reason. These people or person want to take things that you do or say personally, and they're making you feel less than because of that. We also have the Empress reversed. Why am I hearing? This is like such a mean girl kind of thing. Like I'm hearing, I think it was from Avatar The Last Airbender when Azula and the girls start beating up is it the Kyoshi warriors? And Tylee's like, you're not prettier than us. And I'm like, that wasn't even, who even brought that up? You're just here kicking ass and you're just like, you're not prettier than us. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. So this person or people, honestly, they might be missing the mark. They might just be making random comments to just be bitchy. They're like, oh, pile 2 isn't even this and that, and it may have nothing to do with anything. I feel like they're just literally hating to hate. And the only reason I'm laughing is because these people are ridiculous. Because Empress energy reversed is very petty. It can be like, again, petty mean girl behavior. This must be feminine energy. Maybe some of you have people who hate on you for no reason other than the fact that you make them feel insecure. So it's like, because you make them feel insecure, they're gonna try and make you feel insecure. Ooh, I'm sorry. This feels very high school. And I know a lot of you aren't very high school, which is another reason why I'm laughing. Judgment reversed. I'm seeing not to take them seriously or don't even like worry about it. Because you may be like compelled to say something, do something. But the truth is these people are sad. Like these people are so sad. If it's one particular person, especially if it's like a person in power, because I'll be honest, with the Empress and the King of Cups here, these could be people that are like above you in some way. If they're being petty, let them. It reflects poorly on the kind of people they are. Not only that, but someone may even call them out. It's like, why are you talking about pile 2 that way? Like they're just doing their thing. We have the Page of Wands and the Well. The only thing I do see is that this may prevent you from actually either having certain opportunities or being able to be seen in a more productive light. That's the only negative side to this. So for example, if this is the workplace, this could be like higher ups talking trash about you, but then like they stigmatize you some way. This is BS behavior. I'm sorry, pile 2, that this is what's happening. But your guides want you to be aware of this because they don't want the people around you to make you feel inferior. It's like, no, you can't allow them to make you feel inferior. This is something that only you can do. You have choice over how you feel, and you shouldn't allow these people to make you feel any type of way. Can we get more cards? Queen of Swords. Yeah, someone's going to shut them down really quick. The Queen of Swords is someone who's logical, somebody who's fair, somebody who really doesn't put up with a lot of petty talk at all. And this person might actually be, I mean, they could be an air sign, but I'm seeing more somebody who is like not putting up with it, not dealing with it. Back of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Oddly enough, this is going to like this is going to set off some sort of events that are meant for your better good somehow. So this might mean that 3 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. It's not that it's a missed opportunity. I see more somebody here not having a great time. I don't feel this is you. This is somebody else. It's karma. This is basically karma. Long drawn out karma that like if people are talking crap about you, like I said, it's going to reflect poorly on them. But not only that, but that's like bad energy that they're sending out. So don't partake in this. Like, don't involve yourself in this. Don't do anything about it. I know it's going to probably annoy you that you have to be aware of this, but if you get whiff of that this is happening, if you hear that this is what's going on, inaction is going to be your best action here. It's very much, yeah, I'm hearing Gandhi here with the non-violence, or the not that I ever would condone violence regardless, but it's kind of like do nothing and see how they react. Just keep your head high. You keep doing you. Take the high road. Let them be on that low road, and things will play out. Because I see somebody coming to your defense, or I see somebody putting a stop to this, because the Queen of Swords is kind of like, hey, it's not okay how you're treating that person, or hey, it's not right for you to be talking about people that way. This is so interesting. But also you're surrounded by people who are just garbage, unfortunately. This is something your guides, maybe your guides are just confirming this, maybe you already knew, but your guides are wanting you to be aware that yes, they are wrong in how they are handling this and how they are behaving, but also they want you to react. This is very much baiting you into certain things. This is very unacceptable behavior from these higher ups as well, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and get your cards. The rest of your oracle cards, and this may or may not have anything to do with that piece of advice. So let's see what else your spirit guides would like to tell you at this moment. Pile 2. I don't know why people are just so mean lately. Like, I've been getting a lot of similar piles where like the environment is negative, the energy is off. We have feel. You're empathic, pile 2, I can tell, and I feel like you may have gotten a hint that this is what's going on. Like, you know, when you get around certain people and you just get like the bad vibes or bad energy or like a weird feeling, and I can tell that these people have been giving you that. Maybe the whole time, maybe the entirety of you knowing them, and maybe as of recent. We also have root. Remain grounded, remain true to yourself. And heal. Again, similar messages here in these piles, but I feel like, and it could just be like a collective thing where we're dealing with negativity and we have to continuously be cleansing our energy of this negativity because it's become much more rampant. I'm kind of seeing like, you know how during certain seasons, it's just dirtier outside, so you have to keep cleaning something? For example, where I live, there are seasons where there's like heavy pollen, and it's yellow, dusty pollen, and it'll get on everything outside, including the cars. So that means that people have to be constantly like washing their cars if they leave them outside for long periods of time. It's something similar to that. Where like you're just going through a season where you have to consistently be very vigilant of your energy, because there are people out here kind of quote casting spells. I don't really believe that. I feel like people can put negative energy on people without meaning to, or without realizing that they are, because sometimes people will come to me and be like, am I cursed? Is someone putting a curse on me? It's like yes and no, because it's not exactly what you may think. It's just people sending bad vibes, and that seems like an oversimplification, but that's truly what people do. When people are just talking garbage about you, they're out there putting bad vibes about you, but it will come back to them. On back of the deck, we have express. If you feel the need to talk to people about this, I feel like you may want to, but make sure it's with people that you truly trust. This would be like a friend or somebody who's not even involved in this particular environment that we're speaking of here. Pile 2. Let's get the rest of your cards. I keep dropping things on the floor with this one. One of the cards that you got from the tarot was actually one that fell on the floor, and I just took it because that was clearly a message here. So pile 2. We have harmony, equal cross. It's funny because now that I'm tapping into your energy, you're so peaceful and so just peaceful. I keep getting peaceful. So it's no surprise that somebody here would stand up for you. It's like, what did pile 2 ever do to you? We have insight and perception. The wonderful thing about you, pile 2, is that you're very capable of seeing various points of view. You're actually you're very kind when it comes down to it, to the point where like you would even forgive people who are very mean to you, because you see their point of view. You see why they say the things they say. You see why they are how they are, or you could at the very least try to understand. And that's one thing you have above everybody else, is your ability to understand people and to figure out, like, even if it's something that, even if they're doing or saying something that is unacceptable on every other term, I feel like you would try to understand why they think that way or why they behave that way. You're very much a solution finder as well, and purity. See, and the people who are talking garbage about you are gonna feel bad about this, because it's like, again, I'm seeing like whoever's defending you might even kind of bring this to somebody's attention. It's like, well, what did they ever do to you? Have you ever even spoken to pile 2? Have you ever like taken the time to be with them? They're actually a very nice and chill person. And if anybody here who doesn't even take the time to get to know you is talking crap about you, what does that say about them? Other than they just want to make up things to make themselves feel better about whatever's going on here. Like, I honestly feel like if anyone is essentially treating you in some type of way, they're going to regret it. Just keep being you. Don't let them drag you down with them. And we're going to get the last of your oracles before we move on. Manifesting and doing. You're focusing on you. You're focusing on your goals. You're rooted in, fearless expression. Something about being able to express yourself here. I feel like for a lot of you, this energy has kind of shut you down a little bit, or it's kind of kept you quiet, when really you typically are more expressive or more talkative. And I feel like you speak a lot of positivity or a lot of common sense into people. For some of you, you could even be that very Queen of Swords. We have overthinking can spoil the magic. And back of the deck, feed your artist. I feel like Spirit wants you to focus on you and the things you create, and not the things that people are saying about you. A perfect example I can think of, it's like I get notifications on every single comment that is made on my channel. And of course, I'm going to get notifications on even the negative comments, all the BS that people want to say. And I never respond to it. Like, I know when they're trying to bait me into me I don't know what they're trying to do, honestly. I don't care. It's just like, thank you for your opinion. I'm going to ignore it. The only time I ever do anything about it, if it's like consistent negative crap, like if they leave 5 negative comments on a video, which hilariously, it'll be the haters who leave the most comments on my videos. But that said, I don't like that energy. I don't like that negativity. So I'll, it's not block, but what does it say? Hide the messages. So I'll hide their BS because I can and because I want to. Like, if I don't want to see something negative about me and the things I do, I don't have to see it. And that's the way I rationalize that. And, you know, sometimes I'll leave them up and have people have their discussions, but other times I can just tell when somebody is just being a freaking virus here, you know? I'll know when they're just trying to be some sort of nasty mold that wants to grow and like infiltrate. I don't know. That's the way I see it. It's like, you're just being garbage. So let me take you off. But that's the example I can show here, because I'm not here to please that one person. I'm here for multiple people, and if they want to take good positive things from them, they can, and if not, I can let that go. I didn't mean to rant about that here, pile 2, but that's just an example I can think of right off the top of my head of how to do things. But same thing with you. Anything you create, ignore the haters and just focus on your creations, because the world needs more of what you have to offer. So with that said, let's move on to your closing tarot. And I think which cards was I using? The pocket tarot. So your guides want you to not focus on the haters. They'll get what they deserve. Like, just focus on you and your beautiful self, because you have such beautiful energy that anyone who has anything negative to say about you either doesn't know you or probably just wouldn't even get to know you. It's like, how can you say garbage about people who you've never even had the chance to meet? Okay, so pile 2. We have the Emperor reversed. This, again, inaction, do nothing. You may want to, maybe part of you really likes to stand up for yourself, but in this case, in this instance, let them be foolish. Let that energy show itself to be stupid, because I really do feel like that's how it's acting. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Magician. We have this, is this the Six of Swords? Yes. And the Hierophant. I'm not surprised. I kind of feel like this whole reading has been about karmic lessons so far. And back of the deck, Five of Pentacles reversed. Your self-worth is not based on what people think of you. Your worth is not based on what people think of you. It's based on what you do for others. You're coming off as a magician here, capable of doing anything and everything. So it's like, yes, you stand up for yourself, but instead stand up for the things you do and stand up for the peace that you keep, for all the beauty that is inside of you. And you do this by just showing it, being an example of it in your everyday life, and every day in every way. The Knight of Cups reversed here lets me know that at one point you may have even like pursued or wanted to be a part of this energy. Another way I'm seeing it is that there could be somebody here who's like an ex of some sorts, either a former friend, an ex-friend, or like an maybe a little ex-lover, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, who might be part of this, which would explain a lot. This would be like them telling their side of the story and nobody hearing your side of the story. Let them crash and burn. Let them believe this person, because if they're willing to accept one side and not the other, again, that says something about the people who are willing to only accept one side and not something else. That's, I'm sorry, to me, that's just me reading the energy of those people, of that kind of energy, is just, why would you believe one side and not the other? You don't even question the people who are being talked about. You don't even get their side. But I do see you just rising above this, because the Magician, at least to me, and the Hierophant, you understand the lesson and then you let it go. There's also something which is interesting, because this Hierophant card has the a thunderbolt, much like the Tower moment. I feel like people will get their comeuppance. People will learn their lessons. And yeah, you're just going to move on with your life. If they can't move on from this, that's on them. But you're going to move on because you don't really care. But yeah, this is what your spirit guides want you to know. Just keep being your beautiful self. Don't worry about what people are saying about you, and you'll be fine. But this is where I leave it, Pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I am sending you so much love, and I'm here to confirm that you have nothing but beautiful things to offer to this world. So focus on that and don't focus on anything else. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 3. If you chose the selenite palm stone, then we have a reading here for you about what your spirit guides would like you to know right now, anything that they want to come through for you. And if I get anything about your spirit guides as well, I may talk about that as well. It all depends. Sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. But we're mostly focusing on what they want you to know, what messages they have for you at this moment. So we're going to look at the cards you chose. We have Mengpo, Memory, and Dear Woman, Retribution. Interesting. And the Eight of Wands. There's something you've forgotten about, but it's almost like vengeance is sweet. Dear Woman, she's one of my favorite myths. But basically she is a figure in Native American mythologies where she protects women and children. And the deer has always been associated with like vulnerabilities, and in some cases women and children, because even in Greek mythology, Artemis, one of her animals is the deer, and she's also the goddess, like a patron of maidens, and you could see like maybe children as well, like young girls. So there's something here about either your past or things from when you were younger that are coming back to the surface. This has to do with your childhood, or it could have something to do with a particular girl or young woman from your childhood. This would be like some of you may have had like a really strong bond or friendship with like a babysitter, or like I'm thinking of, you know, young girls who take care of you. I'm thinking of a babysitter, maybe an older sister. There's something about memories of that time that I feel like either you're gonna process or you're gonna look back on, and it's gonna make you understand why you view things the way you do. So for a lot of you, this has to do with the young women who raised you. Again, I'm thinking of sisters, young aunts, or cousins. I just say family members because that's all I can think of. But it could also be, you know, if you were in a, I'm thinking of like dance school or like after school curricular activities, where again, like teenagers would come out and like be your mentors and teachers. I'm seeing that. It's kind of like the knowledge that is passed down. Maybe some of you really looked up to somebody like this, like a big sister archetype. And if it's not a sister, it could be a guy as well. It just feels more, this energy feels feminine. It feels like the nurturer before they're even aware that they are the nurturer. The nurturer in training, if you will. But let me get the rest of your cards. I'm actually going to start with the tarot here, and then we're going to get into the oracles. So what do your guides have to say? So you're very protected. You're very protected. Your guides, for some of you, your guides have been very protective of you your entire life, including when you were younger, including when you were a child. And I've read this energy before in my readings. Sometimes I'll get energies that feel familiar. So I don't know if I have certain viewers that only pop in certain readings, and I pick up on that. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Four of Swords. Some of you may have a dream from the past, like a memory as a dream, or some of you may just like recall something. I don't know if there's a word for that, when suddenly like memories come rushing back of a particular time, even though you hadn't thought about it in like decades. We have Death. And we have, this is the Eight of Pentacles. This is reminding yourself why exactly you do the things you do. For some of you, you lost, it's like you lost track of what it is that you've always wanted, or you gave up on a particular dream. And I feel like what you saw was that people were doing that very thing that you wanted to do, and you saw them fail, or you saw their setbacks, or you saw that, well, it wasn't working out for them. It's definitely not going to work out for me. That's the kind of thinking that you had. So for some of you, there was something that you've always wanted to do and you gave up on it because you were discouraged, if not literally like directly by these people telling you not to go into it, then it could have been indirectly by watching them fail and you not wanting the same thing to happen to you. And this could be various things. It doesn't even have to be like a career kind of thing, or even like a dream for some of you. It could just be things like getting married. Maybe you saw a lot of women get divorced and you were like, I never want to go through that. Or, you know, having children. Maybe you saw a lot of like teenage mothers and you never wanted to become that. However, even now as an adult, you still kind of fear the idea of being stigmatized somehow. Because even though maybe you're actually of a sound adult mind now, but in your mind, in the back of your head, there's still some sort of fear there of being either like a single mother or a single parent, or even, I don't know, there's something here where like you've allowed other people's fears, because Death here is coming through as fear, because what fear will do is kill the dream. What fear will do is kill the motivation. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube, by the way. What fear will do is put an end to anything that could have been, because of, you know, the trauma here. And I don't feel like this trauma has to be anything, you know, intense. It could be something as simple as, for example, you wanted to be a model, and then you saw your older sister try to be a model and how it was awful for her, so you decided not to be a model. Something along those lines. However, it's unfair to you. It's a disservice to yourself here, pile 3, because you don't know how much more differently you would be able to handle that very thing. We're all built differently, even people who come from the same womb, even people who come from the same backgrounds. We're all wired and built differently, because we forget that everything is individualized to ourselves, our DNA, our genetic makeup, our astrological makeup, if you will, because I always see things in astrology. We're just built so differently, even from our siblings, even from the friends. Even if you were to find somebody who was born on your exact birthday, exact year, exact time, maybe even in the same freaking hospital, because think about it, there must have been other babies that day you were born that were born maybe minutes away from you. All our lives are immensely different. I wonder if they've ever done studies on that. I'd be very curious, because I know they do studies on twins because that's a phenomenon, but like, I wonder if they've ever done that with people born like literally the same time as each other or minutes apart from each other. But anyway, I digress. Let me get more cards for you, pile 3. We have the 10 of Pentacles. There's something like, there's a success waiting for you and something that you once wanted to do. 2 of Swords. A Knight of Swords. But I kind of see you keeping this either a secret or not telling anybody about it. It's like you're secretly going after something you've always wanted to do. It's like, and it's kind of cute. It's like you're making this your own little story, your own little thing. Because if you were to tell everybody about it, it would kind of spoil the surprise or spoil your own little secret. I don't know why you want to keep this to yourself. Maybe because you're in some ways a little ashamed that you still have this cute little dream to fulfill. And I say cute and little because it feels like for a lot of you, this is something that is very sweet and maybe even very innocent. And for some of you, it may not even be, well, for others, it may not be a big deal, but for you, it may be everything, pile 3. I'm thinking of like learning how to play piano. So you learn in secret by going to your friend's house who has a piano and practicing like, you know, a few minutes every day, or going back to take ballet classes even though you're in your 30s and you want to learn how to be, you know, a professional ballet dancer or something along those lines. I keep getting like sweet little dreams. I'm thinking, for whatever reason, I'm seeing like the room of a 5-year-old girl, like a very girly, very cute 5-year-old girl who loves ballet and has a little like cute little dolls everywhere. I'm seeing very sweet, innocent things here. So for some of you, this must have been from when you were a child and you want to fulfill that very dream. I feel like your inner child is calling for help here because it wants to be healed. It wants to be fulfilled. You know, 5-year-old you is calling and saying, hey, did we ever get to do that thing? And, you know, what are you going to tell him or her? You know, what are you going to tell that little child? This is so sweet. But with that said, I want to move on with the rest of your reading. Let's see what other messages your higher selves, your spirit guides want to say. For some of you, I feel like your higher self is coming through because I feel this in the heart. Like, I feel like somebody here, your higher self or you, really want to fulfill a particular dream. Back of the deck, we have the 9 of Wands. And maybe it's going to be, again, it's like you don't want to have to explain to people why you want to do this. You just want to do it. For some of you, it could be as simple as like opening up a cute little store, or I keep saying cute and little. Maybe whatever you want is cute and little. But let's get your cards, pile 3. So pile 3, messages from your spirit guides. We have manifesting and doing. We have stop, drop, and ground. A lot of you are in an energy, or you're about to be in an energy, in a space where you have a lot of control over your life, where you have a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra money perhaps, or a little bit of extra energy. Like you have this stamina to see things through. It's like you're going to find yourself bored one day and be like, what can I do right now? What can I start right now that is going to be worth a while? And I feel like you're going to start doing certain things that you've been wanting to do. I'm getting the energy of like a go-getter. Some of you could do some wild, crazy things and start a business. Some of you could do some wild and crazy things and, you know, go live somewhere for a few weeks. And by somewhere, I mean somewhere very different from where you currently live. We have the good kind. Oh. And back of the deck, you are epic. Something about the solar plexus is coming through here because we have very yellow cards. So this is you stepping into some confidence. I feel like your spirit guides are like opening up the channels to your confidence. Not saying that they were gatekeeping that from you. It's more like they're showing you how to be more confident. And you do this by by following your heart somehow. For whatever reason, and for you specifically, pile 3, you find your confidence by accepting the things from when you were young and seeing those things through. I feel like there was a certain age, and again, I'm getting very young, like under the age of 10. There was a particular age where you were the most confident little child anyone had ever met, and people were very odd. Even your parents were odd. I feel like your guides want you to tap back into that energy, because with that same attitude, with that same energy, you'll be able to accomplish a lot more. I keep getting, I don't know, this is not going to be everybody, but I remember when I was young, the little books like Angelina Ballerina, or what's the other one? Eloise. Was it Eloise in Paris? It's about a little girl who lived in a hotel because she came from money, but we're just meant to follow her around. She's like a ridiculous little rich girl. I'm getting stuff like that, or even like American Girl dolls, which I think Angelina Ballerina was from like that same publisher of those books. But I'm getting that kind of energy. I'm also hearing New York, like New York City back in like the 90s, for some of you, or the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Boston. I know Boston isn't near New York. I don't know how far it is from there. You think I'd know because I think I was just there. I flew over there over the summer. But yeah, I'm getting that area. So if that resonates with you, then, you know, let me know. But that particular energy is coming through. I've never been to any of those places. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. But there's something here about you stepping into your confidence that your guides are going to help you with. Your guides really like it when you do things. Because when you do things, you're allowing, like, you manifest by doing. Because it says here manifesting and doing, but it's really manifesting by doing. There's such a cute purity to this pile. We have play. Yeah, you're meant to be playing. You're meant to be having fun. I feel like a lot of you have kind of lost out on having fun, especially if you're somebody who takes yourself too seriously. Or if people have accused you of taking yourself too seriously. Or even if you just haven't had enough time to focus on you and it's been all, you know, chores, work, business. And even when you do try to have fun, it ends up being something that maybe isn't even the most fun. We have nurture. It's like nurturing your inner child, nurturing the joy within you. Nurturing the joy within you. I love that. Abundance. And fear. What did I say? There's nothing that... I was getting this energy of fear from that death card in the tarot. And we have play, nurture, abundance, and then we have fear. It's like the only thing that is stopping you from living the most amazing, wonderful life is your own fears. And it kind of makes me a little sad because it's like once upon a time you were a happy child and then the fears settled in and suddenly you became an anxious adult and have been ever since. So what do we do here to release those fears that are preventing you from living life to its fullest? Pile 3. I'm very interested in this pile. It's very, very interesting. By the way, if you don't identify, if you weren't like a girly girl when you were young, if you were very much like a boy, I'm still thinking of like the fun golden times that you would have had as a child, because I'm recognizing that I'm gearing us towards more feminine energy. If you were a guy, it's probably more like, you know, the dreams you had of being, I don't know, a monster truck driver or a Power Ranger. I don't know. I'm just, or even like something fun. All right, let's get more cards for you, pile. We have wisdom. We have protection. We have the sky, vitality. We have secure. I'm basically hearing, if you knew that you were safe and secure and could do whatever you want, what would you do? And I feel like this is what your guides are asking you to do, to take more risks, to do more fun things, to go after the things you want. Chase your bliss. Chase your bliss freely and unabashedly. Back of the deck, we have power. And this is how you regain your power, oddly enough, because again, we're talking about the solar plexus, which is where we have our personal power and confidence. You regain this by just going after the things you want. Take that chance, take that risk, go have fun, go, you know, to the trampoline park, even though you're a 20 something, go get your, I feel like a lot of you just need to have more fun. And in whatever way you have fun will work out here. So your spirit guides want you to release your fears by nurturing that inner child. And specifically the one that enjoyed doing things, that the same things you did when you were younger, not now, not you if you were a child now, because I think, what do kids do nowadays anyway? They're on their tablets and they're watching a bunch of shows that I don't know what, Bluey, they're watching Bluey. I have a 5-year-old nephew and that's all I know about children. He's obsessed with cars. But yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, your spirit guides want you to nurture your inner child and have fun. And somehow this will actually help you manifest a lot of the things that you've been looking for by nurturing your inner child. Don't be surprised if certain beautiful things come into fruition. So with that said, let's get into your closing advice. And I get a little special something for you, pile 3, because I just have a new tarot deck that I wanted to use. The other pile's got a different tarot deck, but for you. This is the Tarot Cats by Bunny D, and I love this deck. Thank you, Bunny D, for sending this. With the cute little cats here. And I do link all of my tarot decks in the description below, so just click the description and you'll see a list of the decks as well as the links to where you can get them. So for my pile 3, we have 2 of Swords. We have the High Priestess. We have the Empress. Yeah, you have very strong feminine spirit guides here, pile 3. Very feminine. And they're all very like loving as well. I feel like you get your intuition from your mother's side. It doesn't always have to be the mother's side, but for you, it definitely does. Or, let's see. Page of Pentacles. And they want you to communicate a little bit more with them. We have 5 of Wands and 7 of Wands. Because for a lot of you, you've been in this energy of having to fight and take things seriously and work. I'm kind of surprised that the 10 of Wands didn't show up. But here, it's more like you've been trying to do things the hard way. Your guides want you to communicate with them. And honestly, a lot of the readings have been saying that thus far. Your spirit guides want you to know that your intuition is divine feminine energy. I mean, intuition doesn't really have like a masculine or feminine energy to it. It's more neutral. But for you specifically, I feel like when you tap into your femininity, or when you tap into, for example, like your Venus in astrology, whatever your Venus placement may be, you will become more intuitive. There's also something here about you keep a lot of secrets, or you may keep to yourself a lot, or maybe you don't express too much of what you feel, think, or say with others, pile 3. And that's okay. I feel like there's something about your magical inner world that people may want to even see, or that people may be very curious about. Back of the deck. The Sun. Yeah. And it's funny because the Sun in the Rider-Waite has the little baby child on the horse. Nurture that inner child, because that child is so wonderful. And I feel like that little child has a lot of messages. You know what? For some of you, one of your spirit guides may be a younger version of yourself that really, really loved life. I mean, I'm sure you still do. But a younger version of yourself that is always wanting you to have fun and is always wanting you to, you know, do cute little things here. I keep saying cute and little. I'm sorry, pile 3, but that just keeps coming through. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, pile 3. This one was really cute. Sorry, this one was really fun after a long day. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose the black moonstone, then we have your reading here for you about messages from your spirit guides. We're going to see what your spirit guides would like you to know at this moment. So we're going to start with the cards you chose. We're going to do some tarot, then some oracles, and then end with more tarot. So for this pile, we've got Ishtar, sexuality, and Queen of Swords. You know what I had? I had Shakira's Punteria, the song she did with Cardi B, in my head this morning as I was prepping for your reading. There's something here about you choosing very wisely the people that you decide to have physical intimacies with, or that you even decide to give your energy to. There's something here about, this is definitely for probably more likely my singles or anyone who just sees multiple people regularly. So those of you who are in poly connections. But even if you are in a relationship, there might be something here for you to understand. I feel like there's something here about not just, the physical activity, but also how you carry yourself, how you display yourself, if you will. I'm not sure what the spirit wants to say about it, but if you've been repressing your more sensual side, I feel like it's time to let it show a little bit. And on the other hand, if you feel like you've been nothing but your sensual side and not really actively being more true to yourself, it might be time to hone it down. Because anytime I see polarities like this, it usually means something's out of balance, and it could be tilted all in one way or the other. But there's something here about expressing your needs, both in bed or even more sensual, more physical, or I don't know, for some of you there's a complicated relationship with your sensuality, which I do pick up on a lot, because on my channel we're very S positive here. I don't shame anyone for anything that they're into, as long as it's consensual and safe for everybody involved. But I'll get, comments, and nothing against these comments, but or people who have these views about how they don't want just, a physical relationship or something casual, which, that's good and everything. I feel like you're allowed to want whatever you want, but sometimes I just feel like people in certain cultures or of certain backgrounds may have complicated relationships with their own sensuality, and that's not for me to and I'm not here to tell you, oh, you need to reevaluate how you view your sensual side. I'm just saying, be a little bit more open about why you may be viewing things this way, which is really interesting. So if this isn't resonating with you, we do have 3 other piles, but for this one I feel like this is going to be a big topic, because I've tried doing 18 plus ish spicy readings before, and they always end up fizzling out. Like, it always ends up being about something else here, which is really interesting, because me personally, people who know me, I'm not like this. I don't show this to everybody, of course, but let's see what your spirit guides have to say. So we have the Queen of Swords, which is the queen of logic, the queen of rationality. She doesn't just do anything impulsively. She thinks things through. She makes plans that are foolproof and has backup plan B, C, D, the entire alphabet. So we have the Lovers. Yeah, this is definitely a pile where we're talking about romance here. Pile 4. We have the Eight of Swords. We have the Two of Swords reversed. Again, this is about having a conversation that has been avoided for a long time, or even thoughts that have been avoided for some time. So for some of you, I feel like, and don't get me wrong, I understand the matter of respecting people as a person, respecting people's bodies. I especially get this energy from men who want to be very respectful towards women, straight men who want to be respectful towards women and not just see them as a body. But there's something here about being at peace with your own sensuality and sensual needs. We have Justice, and there's that balancing out. We have Temperance, Ace of Cups. We have the Four of Pentacles. I have 2 very different messages coming through, and the Ten of Pentacles. Because like I said, we're dealing with polarities here, because I'm back at the deck, Knight of Swords. So on the one hand, there's some, it all just boils down to being very open about what S means in a connection, in a relationship, whether it's casual, whether it's committed, or anything in between. I feel like there's something here about placing either too much importance, and by that I mean like you're letting it consume your entire notion of a relationship. And for some of you, you may not be placing enough importance, because I've seen it go both ways. I've seen people not place enough importance and then wonder why a relationship falls out. And some people place too much importance and then seek elsewhere because those needs were not being met in the way that they needed to be met. And I feel like, again, I'm trying not to judge. I'm not trying to say there's a right or wrong answer, but it's all about balance, understanding that these things need to be discussed. If you and your person don't see eye to eye on your physical needs, it's an incompatibility. Even if you would meet each other's needs everywhere else, even if in every other thing, it's still a compatible relationship. If it's something you can't work out, because I am seeing like a little bit of stubbornness here with the Four of Pentacles when it comes to, in regards to, again, physical needs being met, or even reproductive needs being met for some of you, if you're considering whether you want or don't want to have children. And why this is coming through, I'm not sure. I feel like a lot of you, especially if you're single, I feel like this is something that either you've been kind of, it's weird. I'm seeing like a package here and then like a little floating object. Some of you have been treating this topic as like a little floating object when it comes to your relationships, as opposed to integrating it as part of it. And I'm not here to say which view is right or wrong. I'm not here to say that at all. I just feel like it's been out of balance. Either there's been too much importance or not enough. The Eight of Swords lets me know, and the Two of Swords reverse lets me know that some of you are about to have this particular conversation with somebody important. The Lovers lets me, I feel like this is somebody either you're already in a connection with, that you're considering a committed connection with, or even somebody that in the past you have had this connection with, if that makes sense. Like maybe there was something about your ex or like an ex, and this is going to be like a non-toxic ex. This would be somebody that you're still willing to have like a conversation with and it doesn't get ugly. That maybe there was something about your physical intimacy that you always wondered about, but at the time you were too scared to ask. So now it's like you have a conversation, many months or years later, and you talk about it, which I know seems odd, but we are coming upon a Mercury retrograde as I'm recording this. And even though this reading is meant to be timeless, there could be some sort of retrograde bringing back these topics or these subjects into your life right now. The Ace of Cups lets me know that a lot of you have been emotionally shut off, or reluctant to emotionally open up. Again, this could be regarding the physical intimacy or not. For some of you, it could also just be the fact that I feel like, especially if you're prone to becoming really emotionally attached once you've been physical, I feel like a lot of you have kind of shut down entirely, and that could be affecting your, again, the relations you have with people, which is really interesting. And I can tell a lot of you have thought very deeply about this, because this pile, you could be getting over a relationship, or you've already at least experienced this a few times. Even if you haven't, it would be like it would be taking up a lot of space in your mind. But this is my pile of very, very smart girlies and guys. I feel like you try to be logical about this, but your emotions, because it's natural for intimacy, physical intimacy, to be a very emotional thing. It's natural for humans to become attached in that kind of activity. But I feel like a lot of you have been trying to rationalize the crap out of this, but it still doesn't make sense to you. And that's okay. I feel like we're here to help you dissect that, is what your spirit guides want to tell you, which I'm sure you didn't believe your spirit guides would be able to help you out with something like that. But let me tell you, I've had spirit guides that are very, they're very cheeky, let's put it that way, when it comes to the sensual partners they bring me, or that, they happen to like help me out with. It's really interesting. But again, there's a lack of communication here. If not a lack of communication, it could be a lack of putting thought into, which is surprising, because I feel like a lot of you, you're actually very, very thoughtful and intelligent, but when it comes to this subject, it could be a little bit all over the place. Signs coming through, lots of air signs, by the way. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, because we have Gemini with the Lovers and Libra with Justice, and Queen of Swords is just air sign in general. And Temperance is Sagittarius, so a Sagittarius could be important here. What else do we have? The Six of Wands and the the Knight of Swords. There's a discussion here to be had, and I don't think it's necessarily always with your spirit guides. It could literally be with somebody else, which is interesting. And none of the other piles have had somebody else involved here. But for a lot of you, this is a subject matter we are dealing with. And I don't feel like I'm here to provide a right or wrong answer, because it's going to vary. Not only that, but this is one of those things where we definitely have free will over, because the spirit realm, the way it deals with things like sensuality and creation is very different from how we deal with it as humans. It's one of those things. Not that it's a human or a creation or concept, like, for example, marriage. It's more like the human body is very animalistic, so it's got a different way of operating, which I actually don't typically deal with that. I typically just deal with energy and vibes and all that, as well as emotions. But let's go ahead and get your cards. I want to see what else your spirit guides would like you to say. Ishtar is a very ancient goddess as well, letting me know that we're talking about things that are very much human, and also I'm hearing a tale as old as time. We're talking about things that have been going on for, why did I want to say millennia? For a long time. Is millennia thousands of years? I can't remember, because it's longer than centuries. We have flames, illumination. We have primordial, water. I'm not surprised. I was getting this card, not getting this card. I heard this word and I was watching some sort of video or something about romance and sensuality, just because I like to learn about things, even if it's things that I think I already know. I like to relearn. So there's something about basic needs being met, and the full moon culmination, which is interesting, because the full moon, if we were to see, I don't know why the full moon makes me think of like a pregnant belly, but it also makes me think of a climax. It makes me think of, well, you know, again, you know, the subject matter we're talking about here, pile 4, without explicitly saying it, because I don't want to be flagged by YouTube, and vitality. There we go. It's like, how can I tell you what I need to tell you without telling you? We have, you are living poetry. Oh, okay. This is so sweet. We have cut the cords of doubt. Some of you are wondering whether you're good enough, both like physically appealing, in bed, as a subject of romance. That is coming through, especially for, I mean, you don't have to be single, but I feel like some of you are wondering if you're attractive enough. And the now. Back of the deck. Nourish the sacred feminine. Yeah, I was getting very strong feminine energy, but of course we could be dealing with any type of energy here. And let me get the last of your cards, because a lot of you, there's something here about having your basic needs being met, somehow adding to your feeling feminine, to feeling beautiful. Some of you could have Venus in Scorpio or Venus in Taurus. I think Venus is in Taurus as I'm recording this. Birth. I'll be honest, I feel like your spirit guides are basically saying, for some of you, not all, if you're not using contraception methods right now, it might be time to pay attention to that, because you could be at a very fertile stage in life, especially if you're in your 30s, because I see a lot of, I see several ages. I see 21, 37, 32, 42, which we can have children that late in life, and 38. Some of you could be choosing to have children later in life. And some of you might already be what you may think is later in life, but You'd be surprised how fertile we remain. We also have boundary and express. There's something here about speaking about your physical needs. There's something here about not being afraid to state them. Back of the deck, balance again. And for some of you, usually when it comes to women and or feminine energy, if you don't identify as a woman here, I've always noticed they have a hard time expressing their needs or even knowing what their needs and wants and desires are, which is really interesting. I feel like this is more because of the women we were raised by, because, you know, several generations back, it was considered that their needs were not important. They were just a breeding machine, essentially. But here we're not really in an environment or a culture that views things that way. Well, I guess depending on where you come from or how you view things. But for a lot of you, there's something here about expressing your needs and being okay with that, not feeling shame, guilt, or any sort of negative way about your own very primordial being, your own state of being. There's something here about accepting the beauty of your body, the beauty of your soul, and how those can be intertwined in physical intimacy. For some of you, I feel like you've never experienced like a spiritual connection when it comes to physical intimacy, and I can tell you it's very different. You can have this with people who aren't even meant to be, like, you can have that experience with basically anybody, because it's not as much to do with emotional bonds or even things like marriage or commitment. And it has everything to do with how willing you both are to express what you feel in your bodies and in your souls, which you'd be surprised at how common that can be in a casual fling for those of you who've never experienced it. And yet we have people who have been together for, you know, years, decades, they've been married forever, and they've never experienced anything like this. So for some of you, you're kind of assuming that if you put all your love into something that you'll experience this, and if you accept things casually that you'll experience things in another way, when the truth is it's more complicated than that. Because well, me, I can express everything astrologically, but I'm trying to make it make sense to you, pile 4. Don't be surprised if the experiences you have with people of various relationships just feel different. And I feel like this is only one way that Spirit is trying to remind you that your perfect person will be everything in one. And that's why it's so hard to find, quote, quote, your one true person, your one true soulmate, if we ever even find them. And at the same time, there's some with the Now card and boundaries. I feel like this is the most important thing. Don't be afraid to just be happy with what you have now, and understand that if it's meant to work out, it'll work out. If it's meant to work out, it will improve with time. And if it doesn't, you can always choose to leave it behind or choose to, you know, put things to an end. Because your needs are just as important. But for a lot of people in this pile, and I think this is why you came to me, because I have a very open view of this, don't be surprised if things are just different with everybody. But there is something with express boundaries and balance that if your needs are never expressed, they will never be met. So at least start the conversation. And how that conversation goes should give you an indication of how that connection is meant to go as well, if that makes any sense. Because if somebody doesn't care about your needs, how can they care about anything else about you, you know? I feel like this is what this pile needed to hear. Also, that you're very beautiful, and every little thing you do is poetry. The beautiful thing about poetry is that it can take the most mundane and everyday things and turn it into art, whether it's words, whether it's a vision, an image. You know, one of the most well-known poems of American poetry anyway, is about being at a crossroads, and to anyone it's just a crossroads, but Robert Frost turns it into a whole thing. I might link that poem in the description down below. I forget what it's called. I'm pretty sure if I type in the theme, it will pop up, but that's coming to mind. I am going to read from the book for Ishtar though, just because she's one of my favorite goddesses. Not just because she's ancient, but because what she represents. So for my pile 4, I'll do you the service of a little reading. Ishtar, also known as Inanna, is the Mesopotamian goddess of sensual love, beauty, and war. She is an ancient and complex goddess, acting as both a goddess of love and war. She is a powerful seductress, is a protector of all women, and can withhold or promote desire. She is a warrior and fierce defender of wronged women who can kill or bless with just a glance. She is characterized as beautiful, young, and passionate, but never a mother goddess. She is usually depicted sitting in a lion throne and holding her double serpent scepter. Ishtar was once worshipped by a large organized religion, but fell from favor with the rise of more patriarchal cultures. Yeah, and the meaning. You deserve pleasure. Your sensuality is grounded in your confidence and understanding of how you enjoy pleasure. She encourages you to pay attention to what delights and titillates your senses. Basically, a lot of what I said. But also notice Mesopotamia is an ancient ass civilization. Like, if she was around back then, this just proves that there's something about your sensuality that is very powerful. And maybe it's even feared by others. But, and maybe if people have tried to keep you small because of this, there's a reason. And you're not meant to be kept small here, pile 4. So express your desires and follow them. And if anyone is denying you this, that it may not be the path, thing, or person for you. Because I kind of wanted to say that some people here are single, but it just feels like the energy of being single. Maybe some of you are in connections where your needs aren't being met. And again, you have to address those respectfully so and see where that leads you. So we're going to finish off with more channeled messages with tarot. You're special today, pile 4, because I got a new deck. The Tarot Cats deck. We have the Tower. We have the 7 of Swords, the 6 of Swords. So this may or may not have anything to do with what we just spoke about, because this feels like something unexpected. The Lovers, oh, okay, maybe it does. 3 of Pentacles. Oh, yeah, King of Pentacles. So like I said, maybe some of you have been traumatized, or you've been wondering about like a previous connection where either your needs weren't met or things happened. Back of the deck, the Hierophant. Yeah, there was a karmic lesson involved here. I feel like for some of you, there was some sort of infidelity or some sort of some sort of lie. Let's just call it a lie, because we have the Tower, the 7 of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. This would be the deception that made you had to leave, the deception that made you have to walk away. And the Lovers lets me know that this had been something that was very important, a connection where you thought things would end up going well. Like this would be commitment energy. But then we have the 3 of Pentacles, letting me know that you've really thrown yourself into either your work, maybe self-development. Maybe this is, for some of you, part of your self-development, to understand your sensual side and to see what your needs are. Because maybe in a previous connection, you may feel that they left you because you weren't good enough, either in bed, or maybe you weren't visually physically desirable enough. Like maybe some of you feel that, oh, because I didn't have I didn't look like that person that they cheated on me with or that they left me for. Some of you just, I can tell that the wounds run deep. And the King of Pentacles lets me know that, well, one, if you are looking for romantic love, there is somebody out there who's going to be very loyal, because the King of Pentacles, out of all of them, is probably the most loyal of the kings. But there's also something here about being loyal and true to yourself, understanding that what you have is enough, that the things you are born with, that the very thing that you look like, there's somebody out there for everybody. There's somebody out there who thinks everything that you have on right now, everything that you look like, every body part, every freckle, every part of your face, every part of your body is just the most gorgeous and seductive thing. Because half the time it's not even about what you look like. Half the time it's about how you carry yourself, and even the vibrancy that you bring into a connection. That's why you had the Vitality card in the oracles. Where is she? The Vitality card, as well as Illumination. There's something about your spark that, yeah, here they are. Illumination and Spark. There's something about, and we all know this, right? Because there are certain celebrities out there. Let's just take celebrities for example, and I'm not here to hate. There are certain celebrities that maybe don't have the most conventionally attractive bodies or faces, but the way they carry themselves is just so, like, it would seduce anybody. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to make it seem like I'm dragging anybody or talking crap, because no, but we all know this, especially, you know, I'm thinking of musicians, like rock stars, like a lot of them not conventionally the again, I mean by convention, not conventionally attractive, but the way they sing, the way they move on stage, the music that they play, the instruments they play, it's all so seductive. It's all part of the dance that makes people desirable. It's all part of their essence, if you will. And for a lot of you here, pile 4, you have that very thing. And you may not see it because you're not the one in the audience watching you, but there's people out there viewing you thinking, dang, pile 4 is the most gorgeous, beautiful, sensual thing. And you will end up finding this. I just feel like you have to see different perspectives other than your own right now. But this is all I have for you, pile 4. I am sending you so much love. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And for those of you who want a less censored reading, I guess, you can always email me for a personalized reading. I don't usually promote my personalized readings within my YouTube readings, but I feel like this pile you may want or need it. But yeah, this is where I leave you. Take care.